Hey, hey, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Coach Maurice Beasley here with our DMPT 1010, the introduction to raster imaging. Uh, our focus is using Adobe Photoshop to create our different projects and labs that we're going to be assigned. We're going to go through a lot of information and a lot of different things. So buckle up and prepare to go. This is going to be a series of short videos. I'm going to try to make them around 10, 15 minutes each to kind of go through the information for the full lecture. Today is going to be lecture one, and then on Thursday, that's going to be lecture two. So I'm going to bring up in a minute, I'm going to share my screen and show you a bunch of different things that goes into the base introduction for things for right now. So give me a moment and let me share my screen, and then we can go over stuff. All right, so first part of the stuff we're going to go over. Make sure this is right. Hang on. Yeah, okay. So this is Blackboard. This is how we would see it. And for some reason, my Blackboard is frozen. Of course. Let me refresh and see what happens. Do, 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 do. Here's a story. Lovely lady. Do, 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 do. For those of you who never had me before, I am kind of a kooky dude. I do bad dad jokes, and I say a lot and go through a lot of different things. So you have to excuse me. My background, I've over 30 years now of working as a freelancer in graphic design, as well as teaching and web design as well. So got a lot of knowledge about a lot of things, and you'll see me express it a lot in the things that I do and what I'm going to show you. If you ever have me at the live in-person class, we have a lot of fun. We discuss things and talk about a lot structure that I try to put through with our class here. Okay, this is unfrozen now. Is I will convey to you a lot of information, and I expect some feedback. I expect you to talk with me. With this being an online class, I know that's not really possible unless you come to shoot me emails if you have questions, which I encourage. Set up a booking time. There's this link right here for booking a 15-minute meeting with me if you need to. I suggest that if you get confused about something, got a question about something, send me an email, come to my office, book a time. Any one of those three things is going to get you in to be able to speak with me, and I can clarify a lot of things. We will have some discussions. I call them check-ins, and we will have those every once in a while. Where I'll create a discussion asking you about something, and I expect some type of feedback from everybody here relating to that. And with those discussions, it just kind of helps me keep track of making sure that everything's being conveyed right, everybody's understanding, and we've got the things going on. Now, what I want to do here in this particular video is go over Blackboard here, if you're familiar or not familiar, just to make sure that we kind of have an understanding of what you have at the beginning before you get into any of the class stuff. So the first part, my instructor contact information. I just showed you that a couple minutes ago. This little circle that sits right here is going to be next to a lot of these different entries that you're going to have in Blackboard. If you see the half and half circle, what that means is that you have clicked on that particular entry, you have looked at it like this with the instructor, but it's not complete. Because it's not complete, sometimes that will ding you on not being able to move forward with any of the lesson plans, not being able to get access to anything, or sometimes even getting kicked out of the class with you not even knowing it until you come back the next day. So, to avoid that, what you should do is every day that you come into Blackboard and you access any part of this class, make sure there's a green check mark next to these circles, on these circles. If it's not green, like in this case with this instructor contact information, if you've seen it already, just click there on the half and half circle. It'll turn green, which means that you've looked at it already and you're ready to move on. Cafe chat. This is one of the necessary things to do so you don't get kicked out of the program or get kicked out of the class, I should say. So every class that you take, do this. Go here. It's basically the code of conduct. You're reading it. You click on the link to read it, and then here in the post, you type in something like, I have read the code of conduct, and then just hit post. That'll take care of that. Once you do that, an assignment like this or a particular like this is a discussion. So anything like this, once you post it, it'll show that it's complete, or it should show that it's complete with the green check mark. If it doesn't, then you just hit the half and F circle to complete it. Start here first. When you come here, here's the other part that's important. You got to go through each one of these because they're all linked together, as you can see, and they're all padlocked until you get through the first thing. So the first one is going to be our syllabus. I'm going to go over parts of the syllabus a little bit later in the next video, but right now this is where you can download the syllabus as well as the student success guide. I'm going to start putting these in here for my classes, which will basically tell you, hey, here's what you should do in order to be successful in this course. It's talking about time management, talking about, talking with your peers and doing feedback, discussions, staying in contact with myself. So that way we know that everything is progressing with everything. So you'll have that. And then the next things, very important, the textbook information and link to bookstore. There are some required books that you should get. I try to make it cheap for any of the required books that I require for my classes. I'll give you an Amazon link or some link to get to that particular book. Do you need the book in order to be successful in the course? That's a yes and no answer. Yes, you need it because it's information that is very important, and we don't have time to walk through and talk you through everything. But no, you don't need it because a lot of the major things that I need to give you and tell you, I'm going to show to you and have it in the different learning modules. I'll refer to the book if you have it, but if you don't have it, you can always get the information in other places. The bookstore more than likely will not have the books, at least as of right now. They won't have access to them. This particular book is a digital book, actually. When you click on the link, it'll take you to where you can go and buy the book. You can get the digital book for like, I think, $5, and you can buy the physical book for 27 if it's available. Sometimes they sell out and it won't be available at that time, but if you want to go back and get it, you can. This particular author does have a series of other books. He also has a lot of online tutorials through YouTube and his master class that he teaches on different aspects of Photoshop and the use of it. If you wish to do that, feel free to do so. It's not that bad of a situation. This Adobe Classroom and a book for Photoshop and Lightroom. This is my gift to you. You're going to see it in two places. You're going to see it here and then another place. My gift means that it's already here for free for you to download. Just don't tell nobody. But honestly, I got the book. I bought it a long time ago, and I'm just sharing it with you. If you want to download this book, it's there for you to get for free. All you got to do is download it there through my Dropbox and read it. They'll have exercises that you can go through within that book, and I'll explain about how Lightroom works and Photoshop again in another video. Course participation, which is the no-show. You definitely have to do that. It's a simple thing. If you've taken classes with us, you already know what it is. If you haven't, doing this no-show, and then the other discussion here is this work ethics. You have to do them both. You have to turn them in order to stay in the class. If you do not do this by Wednesday, tomorrow, if you don't do this by tomorrow, you could get kicked out of the class. And there is no coming back into class. There's no appeal to be able to get back into the class. Once you're out for not doing this no show and not doing this work ethics and not doing the cafe chat, you're not going to get back into class. So don't even try, don't even ask. It just won't happen. So make sure you get those done. This walkthrough in the course. When you click on this, it'll take you to our YouTube page or my YouTube page that will give you a walkthrough of everything that I'm talking about, plus the rest of this. It's kind of the general terms and information that you need before you even take the course. So go through that if you need to and kind of read through that, listen through that if you need to. All of our videos, if you haven't found out yet, is going to be in a playlist. And that playlist will be linked into each one of the lectures, so that way you'll have access to them. Resources for students. This is a section that you should always look at to see if in the class there's something here. And there's a few different little trinkets here to kind of take a look at. Make sure that you look through those and read through those because that's going to be important for class, for most of the stuff. Some of these things you should already know if you took the DMPT 1000 class. It's kind of reiterating things like visual hierarchy and other principles of graphic design and stuff. But if you did not take it or you need a refresher, here's the information. So make sure that you read through that as we go along. All right, now getting into the lectures. Every lecture is going to be structured like this. There's going to be the learning objectives sitting there. There's going to be the class presentation itself, which is going to be a PDF most of the time, and it'll be like a slideshow presentation showing you what needs to be covered as far as the lecture. I haven't put this in here yet in this particular case, but there will also be a link that will take you to the playlist of the lecture, which will be these videos. So you'll have that sitting in there as well. And then you have guides or other support material that you will be able to download and take a look at. And then there will be an assessment. For each one of the assessments is basically a 10-question quiz, making sure that you understand what goes on. In order to move to the next module, you have to complete every one of these steps. And with the assessment, you have to get 8 out of 10 correct. You have an unlimited time in which to do it, but you got 8 out of 10 that you have to do. And once you get to that 8 out of 10, then you'll be able to release to the next module, the next lab, the next project. So everything was not going to be available until you complete the previous thing. So complete the tasks, get the green check mark next to everything, and then you'll be able to go to the next task, and then so forth and so on. And everything will be released. We have a full schedule of things to do. We will basically be doing 2 lectures a week for the 8 weeks, for about 8 weeks. When we get to week 9, it should be the lecture should be done, and you should be concentrating on getting the projects finished. All the projects are going to have due dates. The labs are going to have due dates. With the labs, they're usually due by the next Sunday when they're assigned. So if they're assigned on Tuesday, they'll be available. You can do them all the way up till the next Sunday, until that next Sunday at 11:59 to turn those in. There is no such thing as late work. So make sure you turn everything in and turn it in on time. Because you have, with the labs, you got 3 chances to turn everything in. Turn in what you have. If you have nothing, then you get a 0. If you turn in something, at least you'll get a grade on it. With the projects, you have 1 time to turn them in. So they're going to take a little bit longer. You got a little bit of extra time. I think you got like a week and a half to 2 weeks in which to get most of these projects done. Get the project done, turn it in. Once you turn it in, you're good. And again, same idea. You don't turn it in, that's a 0. You turn something in, you get a grade. Every one of the labs, every one of the projects have a report. Do the lab report, do the project report. Fill out the information. I don't want to see you turning in the lab report or the project report and it's just blank. There's nothing there. There is space for you to type in everything. It is a reflection of what you did and why you did it, and what was your thought process. You have to do that. Also, I'm getting you in the habit of documenting your sources. All of your material, and let me get closer to the camera here for this. All of the material that you use within this class is copywritten information. It's coming from somewhere. You have to make sure that you document where the sources came from, where you got it from. If you're a photographer and you did your own work, you want to make sure that you get credit for that, right? If you're a graphic designer and you did this original work, you want to get credit for it. So this is the purpose of doing that. A lot of the sources that I give you are free sites like Pexels or Unsplash to go and get, pictures and stuff to be able to manipulate and do work with. But you still have to document where that came from. And I will probably I will create a video that will show you how that process works to be able to document your work. So that'll be part of this series here. But make sure you do that, because if not, you're going to open yourself up for lawsuits. We don't want to have that happen. And in the future, when you get to a job where you have to do that, you are already be in the habit of doing it, so it won't be that much of a how can I say it? It won't be that big of a transition for you to be able to do that sort of thing. So just make sure you get that done in that particular way. All right. I think I'm done with this video. Again, I want to try to keep these things short and not too long. Thank you for being here in class. I look forward to working with all of you and seeing all your great, wonderful projects. You want to always think about putting things in a portfolio. Um, just FYI, at the end of every semester, we try to do a gallery show now. We're developing and putting it together where you take your work and we print it out big and we put it up like an art gallery. And we invite people from the industry and the general public, your family, your friends, to come and see the work that you've done. So think about that as you are preparing and creating these things. And I want to emphasize it more and more. Uh, where you get a lot of your work that you've done here in your classes, the hard work that you're doing in your classes, you get to showcase it. You get to stand there and talk about it. You get to tell people what you did and why you did it. And it's a very vitally important for you to do that. Those of you who are shy, you say that you have, your social media, your social anxieties and that sort of thing. You're not a people person. You're going to learn. That's one of the big things about us being here is to learn how to turn that switch on and off where you are a people person and you got to be front facing and talk to people and be jovial and happy and that sort of thing, and then flip that switch and go back into your safe space to recharge. You have to learn to do that. So I'm going to try to get you in that process of doing that here in this class and in future classes. So thank you. I'm going to stop talking right now, and we will get back together in a few minutes with the next part of the series. So I'll talk to you in a few minutes.